Hola, bienvenido, siéntate. Okay, let's get right into it. All right, this is the official 2025 Mets bingo card. All right, now this isn't your granny's bingo night, okay? This is bingo for the gangsters. All right, I just want to go ahead and get into it, and we'll talk about what happens when we make a bingo. But this is an exercise in clairvoyance. All right, I want to call them predictions, but I know for a fact at least 66% of this will be happening. Okay, we've got our free space already. I mean, look at him. Just look at him. I mean, there. Look, okay. So I wrote this before the season started, but life. So it's coming out now. All right, get over it. Now, some quick ground rules. Now, I won't be speculating on any trades or like roster moves. Now, somebody does get DFA'd, okay, on this card, but it won't be any, we trade for Sandy Alcantara or some lollipop BS, all right? I'm not here to waste everybody's time, right? All 150 of you. Now, I just paused Takedown with Chris Hansen to be here, okay? So I'm into it. Let's get this thing rolling. Now, first off, let's start with a layup. What kind of bingo card would this be without a good old-fashioned Jeff McNeil crash out, right? You better watch where the you sliding, buddy. Okay? Now, as I mentioned, in the official MLB Aura tier list, Jose Reyes is my favorite player. Lindor is my favorite player. David Wright is my favorite player. But Freddie Freeman is my favorite player. But Jeff McNeil is my favorite player, okay? I sincerely hope that this crash out he has isn't the result of frustration after, hitting 250 to start the year, which for him feels like 207. Am I right? But either way it goes, I know Jeff has at least one good crash left in there. I mean, come on, Jeff, for the boys, one for the road. Why not, right? I mean, the way it looks right now, we're going to need him for longer than this year, but yeah, it's a different video. Okay. Neither here nor there. Next up, Jose Siri gets beamed once every 100 plate appearances, where we can objectively say it's intentional. Now, yeah, I'm probably going to take an L on this one. He's headed to the IL. Like I said, these were made before the season started. But we remember him playing last year. I shouldn't have to spend too much time explaining this one, okay? Let's not act like he's ever going to be up for the Roberto Clemente Award, okay? Now, we know why he's going to be getting hit, And I don't just mean he gets hit. No. I mean he gets beamed. Like, he knows it's coming. We know it's coming. Beamed. They hated him in Tampa when no one's really pressed about Tampa, respectfully. Imagine him on the team that MLB, for some reason, hates the most, right? Okay, next up. We got the Clay Holmes underpaid allegations. All right, I'm excited for these. All right. Though I don't expect him to exceed, 120 or 130 innings this year, I could see him having the lowest ERA on the team. Like I said, this was written before the season. This is the last time I'll mention that. But, Kodai's looking good, but he's probably going to have the lowest ERA on the team. He's going to have a few brilliant starts, and then he's going to get boat raced a few times. It's coming. But in the end, it'll balance out. It'll balance out to be a decent first year. Now, we all expect high K rates, some untouchable performances, but I'm most interested in seeing what kind of shape he's in for the playoffs. Playoffs? Yes, playoffs. God willing, we perform up to snuff and make it there. But, that's kind of the only remaining concern I have for this team as presently constructed. It's like, if we're in a wild card situation, what does that top three look like? Right? We could scratch Sean off. We know he's good. But outside of that, what is that top three going to look like come wild card weekend? Well, it's not football. You get what I'm saying. We just have a lot of gambles going into it. Even if we had a few horses, a long season can always flip your plans upside down. I don't know. Maybe that's one of the next videos, but I want to talk about us turning our swag up and getting a top 3 most viral Selly this year. Now, we've already seen it. Okay? We've already seen it, but it's still too early to call if we've got a top 3 Selly. Now, personally, I preferred the Vientos one. The one that went viral where he was letting that thing dangle. I don't know if MLB tapped us on the shoulder or if Mindy was like, all right, y'all chill out a little bit. Like with the, we're not the Dodgers, okay? We can't do a bunch of dick stuff. But I like it. I'm going to read what I wrote from before the season. I wrote, every power of friendship roster needs a good Selly. All right. Lindor came up with the last one, but I feel like he's graduated to like player coach status at this point. Although I did love his work last year with our signature belt to ass Selly. So, I mean, who knows, right? I was hoping a young buck came up with it, hopefully Siri, and this is also what I wrote. It's going to be a little zesty, but all in good spirit. I think I was on the money. I mean, who knows this team better than me? No one. Okay, now for the next one. They've sullied his name. Wait, I need a drum roll. They've sullied his name. They've kicked dirt on his name. They've already forgotten one of, if not, the most dominant reliever years we've ever seen. Okay, I mean, a 2.97 ERA plus. Can we get real for a second? And how do I remember that off top? Wait, Satra, how do I remember that off top? Because it's so fucking preposterous, right? My grandkids are gonna ask me, Papa, what was Edwin Diaz's ERA plus in 2022? And I'll turn to those same grandkids whose names I can't even remember at this point, and confidently and clearly, claramente, clearly say 297 plus. All right, a .9 FIP. Bro, he struck out over half of the batters he faced. Okay, and then I'm gonna keel over and cash. That'll be it. That'll be the last thing I do in life. All right. Edwin Diaz's 2022 was so unbelievable. It's already done irreparable damage to my grandchildren. Right. And I don't even have children yet. Okay. Edwin Diaz will become the boogeyman yet again in 2025. Now, I know we're off to a concerning start, but I'm going to hold strong with this one. I mean, not that I have a choice. I've already made the slides. Right. Last year, I'm going to count that as the bounce back year from the injury. And although he struggled at times, one thing I did love, I loved his attitude and approach to not wanting to give the ball up, right? Remember that doubleheader in Atlanta when he blew it, but he still wanted to stay in? That's that shit I like to see, okay? I have no doubts he's doing everything in his power to be the guy again. He seems to relish being the guy, which I'm going to bank on. Now, I'm going to swing completely in the opposite direction, okay? Muscle Man. Starling Marte gets DFA'd by July. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't all going to be sunshine and fuck, you know what I'm saying? Now, we love Starling here at MetSet Radio, the entire staff, right? This is a pro Starling Marte channel. Now, let's be clear. I don't want this to happen. I could easily see him having a better year at the plate with him not having to play the field every day. Like, I get that. But I could just as easily see him hitting to like a 650 OPS by July, and us getting antsy to get a look at Drew Gilly or Jet Williams or like someone else, you know what I'm saying? Next one, it's already a little late for this, we're halfway through, but Lindor hits his weight in April. Okay, this is the year. This will be the year Lindor puts that full season together and has that definitive Fangraphs line that we'll point to when it's time to debate if he's first ballot or not. Right? I don't expect him to go on a, you know what I'm saying, September, October Lindor run. Yeah, you can't ask anyone to clutch up like that to that extent, for any period of time. But with Soto and Pete's protection behind them, and Pete, we looking good this year, I feel like he's got that calm confidence thing going on now where he's not going to press as much to please us booing behind him if he starts his first series over 12. So yeah, that's what I think. All right, next up. This one's coming out of left field. All right. The Mets will have a better record against the Braves than the Washington Nationals. Okay. I have zero statistical analysis for this one. Nothing I can point out to you on a spreadsheet or no fielders graph to just shout out to no fielders. That's one of my favorite pages. Braves fan too. Ew. Nothing I can point out to on a spreadsheet to justify this opinion. Just know I grew up watching Mets baseball, and this will be happening this year, okay? There's just something about that sleepy kid they're trotting out in left field that makes me extremely uncomfortable, all right? Next up, a lot of Jose Siri today. Jose Siri single-handedly wins us 3 games, okay? Now, It's going to happen in a couple of different ways, right? There's going to be at least one epic walk-off home run to conclude a dramatic back and forth game. We'll remember it for the rest of our lives. It'll be great. The other two will be with either clever base running or in the field, a tremendous diving catch, or maybe he just gets in a pitcher's head as we're turning the order around and sparks a rally. I mean, who knows? But it's going to happen. And even with this IL stint, I still think he'll get us 3. Next up, of course, Jose Siri single-handedly loses us 3 games. Okay, between either waking a team up that's lying down to die by just doing too much, showboating and frolicking around, whatever the hell he's gonna do, or doing something stupid on the bases in the 9th, we will be able to look back at those games and say, yeah, I mean, Tyrone Taylor would have given us a chance there. Not exciting, but he would have given us a chance there. Next up, speaking of throwing dirt on people's names, Juan Soto, catch of the year candidate. Get ready. It's coming. All right. There's been a lot made of Juan Soto's defense or lack thereof. And to be honest, it's so overblown, in my opinion. $800 million a year for a DH. Your mother's a DH. Okay, let me chill. All right, I've got a vid coming on that, but the fact that Ronald Acuna continues to escape that narrative when he grades out worse defensively in every way just baffles me. How does he escape the criticism? I don't know. Anyway, we'll get more on that later, but I digress. Juan Soto will make an amazing catch this year. Now, let's be realistic, right? I'm not going to act like it's going to be some Jackie Bradley Jr., Spider-Man, run up the wall, PCP addict activity, right? But it will be some crafty, over the shoulder, slick veteran kind of deal. And I will spend an entire evening in every comment section engaging in the most toxic online behavior you've ever seen. All right. Next up, the dugout's empty at least 5 times this year. Now, we've had a chill start to the year. At the same time, though, we've played a lot of AL teams that we never see and never will see again. And the Marlins. So we don't really know, there hasn't been much grittiness, nothing like that. But this one's going to be a no-brainer because people already hated us when they had no reason to, right? Now they're going to really hate us when we're A, winning, B, trotting out Juan Soto, Jose Siri, Jeff McNeil. I don't know why I said it like that. Jeff McNeil and the gang out there. And Alvarez ain't going for that bullshit either. All right. Especially with Acuna and Drew Gilly coming up. There's going to be some problems this year. All right. And I'm here for every single one of them. Now, all of these can't be positive Met suck. Okay. I had to get realistic about a few of these, and one of the realities I had to face was the fact that, yes, not a single young piece will have a 750 OPS this year. All right. Now, it seems like cheating, but like I said, I wrote this video a while ago. You're going to have to trust me, okay? Either trust my honor or trust that I'm too lazy to have gone back and redone every slide that I did 2 months ago, okay? You're going to have to trust something, but trust one of them. Now, I want to be wrong. Trust me, I want to be wrong. And don't kill me, but we don't really know what Acuna is yet. Ronnie Mauricio is healing like a 50-year-old. Brett Beatty is... This isn't a crash out video, okay? I'm trying. Brett Beatty is Brett Beatty. I'm just gonna say that. I'm so fucking tired. Ugh. All right, I'm not gonna do the. Don't. Okay. See, I've got self-control. I'm a professional, and we've still got to see the other ones hit in AAA or play in AAA. Okay. Now, we spent a whole winter jacking off to these dudes, circle jerking, and it may be 2027 before a single one of them is even worth a damn facing a frontline starter. All right. And I'm to the point where I'm going to throw Vientos in there. If we can get 750 OPS out of Vientos this year with the way he looks at the plate, I will, you know what? That's my hands. What is this gesture called? I'm wiping my hands of it. Anyway, next up. Let's get some positivity because I feel a crash out bubbling up in my spirit. Deep breath. Next up, we've got the Jose Butto him allegations. All right. Yeah, buddy. Okay. Birdman hand rub. Now, if you didn't see how everything developed in the ups and downs of the season last year and only looked at his baseball savant, for instance, we're looking at it now, you'd ask yourself, why are the Mets not slotting him in and stretching him out, to be like a 4 or 5 guy? Why are people not talking about this guy more? And my answer to that is if he stops walking so many people, I can only imagine how much better these surface numbers would look. But yes, he should, I think, have been given a chance to get stretched out, and be a 4 or 5 guy. Tyler McGill looks good, but we knew Tyler McGill would look good until June hits, right? He's like the greatest cold weather pitcher ever. If there was like a Canadian league, Tyler McGill would win the Cy Young every year. And back to Booth though, I think bro's tired of the disrespect. I've seen his attitude. I love it. He has top of the rotation steez. He got that aura, shout out to the aura tier list video. Just in case you still had any shred of respect left for me, and having to come out of the pen while Blackburn and McGill got starts should have been a wake-up call for him. I think bro not only excels, if started, but I think bro forces his way into the rotation come next year and becomes a very important piece for us, but it's on him. All right. Next up, back more happy stuff. Happy Jeff. Bienvenido. Welcome back, bro. Happy Jeff. What's up, bro? Now, I'm not going to OD on this one. At his age now, I just hope Jeff's got another 1, maybe 2, if you can give it to me. 785 OPS with slightly above average defense seasons left in there. Do you got any more, Jeff? If you don't really watch the Mets, it could be easy to just look at his numbers and say, dude, this guy's a bum. But if you really watch, this team often goes as Jeff goes. When Jeff's rolling, we remember that little second half flurry last year, right? When Jeff's rolling, the entire dugout shifts energy and he changes the dynamics of the entire lineup. It's if you watch these games, you see how his ABs frustrate pitchers and elongate innings. Just for him to slap a double down the line or poke a slider away into the hole somewhere. He also clutches up defensively. Make of that what you will, I guess. Like I said, no graphs or numbers to support anything I'm going to say today. And I can't describe it as well as I like, but when he's got his moxie up, that infield just looks different. You see Lindor holding down short. You look over at Jeff, and he's got his mug on with those glasses. We just look like them boys, all right? Next up, and this is something that I think a lot of us are sleeping on, and we need to pay attention, all right? The Phillies will get their revenge. I'm happy. I'm happy we took care of business in the NLDS. But the Phillies have been getting disrespected all offseason. Haven't heard too much, haven't seen too much. But, people really act like this isn't still perhaps the second best roster in baseball top to bottom. I mean, you look at their pitching, it's nuts. They lost a couple of guys out of that pen, but Orion Kerkering scares the shit out of me. Okay. Not only are they going to come in the Citi Field and punch us in the mouth, but they're going to let us know about it. And I hope we're prepared for that, right? It's going to be a shit show. I'm telling you, I've already seen it in my dreams. Probably setting up some kind of high leverage series late in the year when everything comes to a head. It's going to be a disaster. Next up, Juan Soto flirts with a triple crown. Now, due to this video being late, it doesn't, Pete looks closer than Juan, but it's a long season, okay? Next up, Acuna leads prospects in plate appearances. Now, we've seen how the beginning of the year has gone. This seems like a no-brainer at this point. But I personally felt at the time of writing that Acuna so far has earned the right to get the first look at, and I said at third, this is when I thought Pete wasn't coming back. You see, I wrote this forever ago. I will be honest, right? I feel like he did overperform in September, which is, doesn't make me a genius. We all thought that. But there is something to the fact that he stepped up when we absolutely needed him to, during the most important part of our season. He's got the moxie. And if he hits if we could get bro to like a 700, 725 OPS, if I'm going to get greedy, I think he'll be a linchpin in our lineup, at least until the deadline. He'll start the year hot, I thought, but eventually things are going to cool off, and we'll be calling for another look over there at some point. I think ultimately in the end, he becomes I'll be nice and say super utility guy. Yeah, let's go with that one. All right, next up, Mets fans, stand up. This year, we got to show up to the ballpark. Uncle Steve, or as I prefer to call him, Daddy Steve, has opened the wallet, and it's a lot of stuff's overpriced. We're gonna have to open our wallets up too, right? The two current highs for Citi Field attendance, okay, we got 39K the year Citi Field first opened, and 34K from, this has got to be wrong. Oh, average attendance. Okay. 39K. And then the year Citi Field first opened, like I said, and 34K from 2016, which was after we won the World Series. And although we didn't make the World Series last year, I think that kick in the pants is going to get us back in the ballpark. Not to mention we've all got to get a look at Soto this year. I mean, what are we going to do? Not go see this guy? Okay. Next up, Tyler McGill becomes elite reliever. Now, I know he's starting the season great, but we know what's going to happen. And I just think Tyler's stuff is so stuffy, you know what I'm saying, that if he can just let it fly for 1 or 2 innings, I think he could become, I don't want to say like his brother, but like his brother. Next up, Jazz Chisholm, public enemy number 1. All right, I'm not going to go too crazy on him right now because this is a crash out video in the making. He's going to say something this year that we're never going to let him live down. Okay. Now let's not forget he was in our division his entire overrated career. Don't get me started on that. But I can't remember. But there was something that happened a few months ago that have Yankees fans tight. So even outside of the hometown rivalry, there's some new juice to this matchup. I don't remember what it was, but something, right? Something that made them really upset and whatever. I'm looking at this Yankees team, and I don't see a lot of spunk over there, okay? They've got some talent. I'm not trying to play them like they suck, but there's no spunk, right? No real chippiness in any of them. Maybe Austin Wells has a little bit, but Goldie, Bellinger, Judge, LeMahieu, Volpe, they're all turning down fades. I'm going to tell you that right now. They're all turning down fades. Jazz, I don't think he is, right? Jazz is a showman. I'll give him that. He's a showman, an entertainer. I've personally disliked him since he was on the Marlins for a number of reasons. But, I mean, he's not a bad guy per se. It's baseball. He's playing the heel, whatever. But I can't remember an occasion where he's ever crossed the line. I think this year he crosses the line with us. All right, let's wrap this up and get the hell out of here, man. I got to get back to my Chris Hansen. All right, Kodai Senga, top 5 Cy Young. So far, so good, buddy. We got to stack them innings up. Keep it going. We got to see what he looks like against elite competition. But a few marquee games, especially with Justin Steele being out of the picture, Strider is coming in late. If Kodai Senga is going to make a top 5 Cy Young run, this is the year. Okay? And if we really want to make it about race, he's going to be the top Japanese pitcher in the world. Okay? So far, so good. Next up, this one's kind of a filler. I don't even know why I put this, but the new alternatives turn out to be a hit, and they look super clean on the field. Now, personally, during spring training, I thought they kind of looked good. I was even low-key shopping for one. You telling me when I said that I'm going to deny it, but I was even a little low-key shopping for one. But when you see the backs of the jerseys, they just look so goofy. Like we look like a 16U softball team. Low key, high key, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just something with like the outline not being filled in on the back. I can't read anyone's name. I don't know who's at the plate if I don't recognize their body type. It's just let's put these jerseys. Let's see, spring training. These are great spring training jerseys. I'm not so confident about this take, but maybe, just maybe, someone swags it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Once summer comes around, Lindor starts with the accessories. Maybe Vientos throws like a little turtleneck up under it. Like somebody will sport it correctly and show the rest of the team how to style these jerseys. And maybe this prediction comes true. Maybe we scratch this off. Okay. Next up, Francisco Alvarez, 30 homers. The injury in the beginning of the year kind of hurts his chances of that. I wish I could augment this to like 25 homers, but it is what it is. The slides are made, and I gotta rock with it. 30 homers for Francisco. I mean, maybe he gets searing hot when he comes back. Soto's got what, 3 now, and you know, so there's still time for him to get back on track and make this. And I think that's it. You know, once the bingo card is complete, or you know, once we make a bingo, the first person to catch it and alert me on social media, I'll send you a free jersey of anyone you want. Okay. Do I want to? I don't want to do this, but it's gonna make the video worth it, and I will begrudgingly send you. Should I send my least favorite player? I'm gonna find a way to make that fun. We're gonna find a way to make that fun. Free yeah, because the Brett Beatty jerseys are gonna be on sale. Okay, first person to make a bingo gets a free Brett Beatty jersey on me. Okay, don't check the tags. No, I'm just playing. I ain't gonna send you nothing, fool. I ain't like that. But yeah, so that was the Mets 2025 bingo card. I appreciate everyone that watched or will watch the official MLB Aura tier list. To get serious for a second, yeah, I'm working on some stuff. We got some real shit coming. It's not everything's gonna be shits and giggles, but you know, keep it locked. Stay tuned. We're gonna try and catch a rhythm here. This is 2 videos in a week, so I'm gonna try and keep that up. And you know, what's the YouTuber shit that everyone does? YouTuber shit. Like the video. That actually does help a lot, from what I've heard. Like the video. If you fucking with the vibe, then hit subscribe. You know what I'm saying? And we'll be back for more. But I feel like I've already held y'all too long. So yeah, peace.